that, man, let's move on to the Western New York. Of course, man, the only team that's in Western New York that's driving everybody crazy because of fan base, not because of the football team, but the fan base, man.
The Van Best.
Yo, James Cook scored 2 touchdowns as the Bills' first 3 turnovers in 24-21 win over the New England Patriots. Drake Maye, this is the first game I actually sit down and watch this young quarterback. Buffalo Bills defense had him looking like Tom Brady out there. He completed 22 out of 36, 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Josh Allen didn't do much, but but he's there. So 16 out of 29 yards, 154 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. But James Cook, man, 11 carries. Just 11 carries. He got 100 yards and a touchdown. Solo. I know you was at the game, man. The atmosphere was crazy. I don't know how you do it under the cold, my brother, man. I salute you.
Yo, man, it is always crazy in Buffalo, man. No matter what's going on, the fans always show up. But this game was one of those weird games where they had New England up 14-0.
Wait, did I say his last name right? Drake Maye or May?
May.
Drake,
May. Okay.
Drake May.
May.
Yeah, he look good. So a lot of people have been comparing him a little bit to Josh Allen. He can run, he can throw. I think the future looks good for New England. The Bills' defense was terrible, like always. And I understand they were playing their third stringers. They're missing like 4 or 5 players on defense. But it amazes me how much of a drop-off it is when the first and second stringers are done. I'm like, are these guys making millions too? What's going on? Because I remember Detroit for such a long time. They were playing with like third stringers, and for the most part, and I know their offense is it's dangerous, but for the most part they played okay. But our Bills backups, man, played terrible. I know, and I do understand they did create 3 turnovers and special teams in the second half. So I guess I still have to give them credit because for the most part they only gave up 14 points in the actual game. That last touchdown, they're just playing to prevent, just around the clock. So
Right.
the score might say so they only allowed 14 points, which doesn't look bad. But if anybody watched the second quarter, they look terrible. Josh Allen, of course, we just found out he had a couple injuries. He was playing with Josh Allen. He was playing with a broken hand,
He got
and then
injured shaking his head. Say Patrick
and
Mahomes
then
had an injury.
and then an elbow. But I'm just saying. So he didn't have his best game. He probably had one of his worst net games.
This is his worst game of the season. I'll
Go,
give it that, yeah.
good thing James Cook showed up, and in the second half they kind of woke up and they started playing better football, and they scored a few points. I mean, they still scored 24 points as bad as they scored. And I know one of the touchdowns came on special teams. It was a bad mistake. Like you said, Drake May played very, very well, but except for those couple rookie mistakes, the back pass, which was tipped, and then the Bills just fell on it in the end zone. That was a killer. So our defense caused 3 turnovers, but I'm still concerned with how they've been playing for the past, I don't know, couple months. They've been terrible on defense. And I know Josh Allen was picking up to the game. He was like, you know what? We are in a weird situation where we have already won the division and we don't want to show too much for the playoff. I'm like, listen, I don't care what you show, you don't show, man. Just hit up on this team, man.
Right.
And just to boost the confidence of the fans. Because now Bills fans, I'm like, we're getting worried. You know what I mean? After one game, even though they've been playing excellent the past few games, and then yesterday's showing was so disappointing. But the only thing I would say is I was impressed that even under that circumstances where they had a really bad day at the office, they still came up and win. That's what champions do. On your worst day, you should be able to come back and win the game. But other than that, there was nothing impressive about it. So we're gonna see in what they do the next 2 weeks when they play again.
That's a very impressive win for Buffalo, man. Lino, what do you think about the Patriots? Well, Patriots not. I mean, it's not to talk about the Patriots. What do you think about this game, Lino?
I thought it was it was kind of a downer. I mean, there's nothing really to take from it. Buffalo came out sloppy. They came out uncharacteristic of who we've accustomed to come see in the past couple weeks. But then again, it's a divisional game. Patriots. I mean, they're doing fake punts and they're
Right.
doing what any bad team would do, and that's play spoiler. And they played it to the best that they can do, and they tried.
Fake
But
punts at a 20, at their own 20. They do a
yeah,
fake punt.
yeah.
Trying,
But
trying to
other
play
than
for luck.
yeah, there's not really much. I have a question for Solomon. Um, when did Josh Allen break his hand?
I have no idea. They just say he'll be playing with a broken hand. I don't
Since
know when.
week one.
Since week 1, that's when he broke it.
Yes. So
And
why did this report just come out just now?
I have
He's
no
been
idea.
playing fantastic this whole year. Is
That's a
it be,
good question.
Yeah,
is it
but you know what?
is it because Lamar had two great games in a row, and
No,
this is another narrative to throw into the MVP conversation?
but you know
Maybe.
what? But you know what's crazy? That information came out before even the game. So
Why? Why didn't this come out like 5 weeks ago, 10
I,
weeks ago?
I don't know. And I don't think according to Josh Allen, it's not a big deal. He's been playing okay with it, so he'll be fine. That shouldn't be an excuse for anything.
This sounds very fishy to me now.
Look at him.
Now I got something to talk about. Let me guess. His worst game, having an excuse and his broke his arm in week 1.
No,
But when he
that
threw 5 touchdowns,
that I
go
just
for
told you,
over
man.
300
That
yards.
that was before the game. That information came out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Before the
but
game was played.
the last game that we seen Josh Allen in,
He played great.
he played great. The week before that, he played great. The week before
Right.
that, he played great.
Great.
The week before that, he played great.
So
Right.
I hate when reports come out like
So
this.
what? So
Like,
Lena,
are we?
what do you think? What's the gimmick? What do you think is the reason?
It's a narrative to make him look better than he is for the MVP. Like, oh, he did this
Yeah, yeah,
with a broken hand.
but
It's
he
not his
don't.
throwing hand. It's
But
not even his throwing hand.
but I don't think he needs he don't need an excuse. He's been playing. He's been playing phenomenal football without even announcing he has. So I don't think that would swear the voters to say let's vote for him because he had a broken hand. He's been playing okay before we even knew he had a broken hand.
I
So
mean,
I
based on
don't
his performance,
that
they gonna look back and say this man be playing Brookingham like this. Yeah, he deserved
no
the MVP. I don't know.
no that don't change anything. Listen.
Shit.
These voters are not dummies. Most of them play football. Some of them are like the journalists that have been in this game for a long time. They're not dumb. They understand everything.
Got you.
You gotta give them
True,
credit.
but I mean, it's just like teams that don't make the playoffs, where it's like the day after they get week 18, it'll be like so and so has been dealing with a knee injury since week 7. We didn't
What?
need to know that. We didn't
That
need to
happened.
know that.
Hey,
That
but
happened with the Philadelphia Eagles last year, man. Jalen
hey,
Hurts was playing trash all season. We didn't know he was hurt. By the
but
end
you
of the
know,
season, we
but
saw
you know
hurt
what,
all the days.
but you know why they do that? Because they always say, like, for example, if the opposition know what's bothering you, they're gonna do whatever they can to make sure they keep it on that same part. So sometimes it's better just not to announce it until you have nothing to play for. Don't you think?
Except for when you're Patrick Mahomes, because before he went to the last game, man, we all know he had ankle problems, and this son of a sucker always pulled something. So man, this is why I call this kid a go. But speaking of Buffalo, man, very impressive too. Like you say, Solo, man. I thought the way they started and the way they play these games to come up with a victory against divisional rival, it shows a lot, man. I mean, you just gotta keep winning, and move on to the next. I don't know if they're gonna lock the number 2 seed or not, but at this point, I don't know who else could take it.
Yeah, if they win next week, then they can. The worst they could do is a third seed.
Okay.
They can go past third seed, so they are good. I think if the Steelers lose to the Chiefs next week, and then which means the Chiefs, they'll be in that number 1
Locked in.
seed, and the Bills are gonna stay on that number 2. And I think at that point, just rest the players for the next couple of weeks. I mean, what's the point of even playing New England again? So we can have more injuries. If I was the head coach, depending on the Chiefs games, because I just don't foresee the Chiefs losing 2 games to the Steelers and the Denver Broncos. They might lose one, but not both. They have to lose both, and the Bills have to win both. So the chance of that happening, very little.
Man, Patrick Mahomes might get 2 weeks off from this motherfucker if they win in 2 days. Damn, 2 days?
Christmas
3
Day?
weeks. It's close to a month.
Yeah.
If we win Wednesday,
Then
We
he can
don't have to play again to January 19th.
the
That's
last game.
25 days.
Wow.
But you know what? Sometimes that is sometimes that is dangerous.
I
Sometimes.
really, I really don't get into that because the rest versus rust. That is just a dumb conversation to have because we've seen teams win it with refs. We've seen teams win it with rust,
But you know
and
what?
and
Every
we've
year,
done it with both. And all of our Super Bowl runs, we've won with a bye. We've won with a wild card.
yeah,
So
but
I mean,
it just feels like the best team, or that looks like the hardest team towards the end of the season, don't always win the Super Bowl.